All right, looks like about 7 of you are here, and I'm going to show you what I've been doing, okay? First of all, I sent all of you an email, and I told you that I'm doing a program. I've been having problems with the recycler view. I can get the recycler view to create no problem, but when I try to click on one of the items in the recycler view and try to get it to go to a second activity, I'm having problems. And I have created several of my own programs. They all seem to always blow up at the same point. So I went online and I found this one today that I mentioned to all of you. And it's a two-part series, and I'd like you to watch it. All right. I mean, I'm going to show you what I've done. All right. I'm going to go through everything that I've done. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but I do want to show you the work that's gone into this, trying to get this to work. All right. So first, in the activity main, okay, all that's in here is a list view. And what I have put in here are 10 different parts of IT. What does that mean? Well, I put in here HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap, C#, SQL, ASP.NET, Java, and Android. Why did I put those in there? Because those are basically the 10 things that you have learned during your stay here, or whatever you want to call it. All right. So the idea behind these, if I go to the My Row, is with each one of these, it was, well, there's part of the problem. With each one of these, it was supposed to show the logo and then a title, like this would have said HTML5, for example, and this would have said web content taught in first semester. And then you go to the next one and it would say CSS3, and then pretty much the same thing, that logo, but CSS3, web aesthetics taught in the first semester. Then JavaScript logo, JavaScript, web interactivity taught in the first semester, etc. I think you get the idea. Just in case you don't, what I did then was I went in to my res folder and I added 2 arrays in there. What do I mean? Well, here's the first one. This is kind of what I told you. So I tried to put this stuff in there as a string array to show you how that was done. So those are the 5 things that were mentioned to you previously. All right. And then this one looks pretty ugly, but it's not bad when you make it bigger. Again, same kind of thing, but web content, web aesthetics, web interactivity, etc. And then the semester that they're taught in here at Rankin. All right. Okay. Like I said, I just want to show you everything that was done here. Then I went out and created a new class called My Adapter. All right. And I used a lot of the names the gentleman used in the YouTube video that I pointed at you. All right. And one thing that you have to do when you start working with this is you need to set what's called a context. All right. We're used to using things like this or get application context. It doesn't typically work when you're working with adapters. So you have to literally create a context variable. All right. And it'll basically pick it up and know you're talking about the current context, which is where you are. All right. This is the array that holds all those titles. This is the array that holds all those descriptions. And this is the array that holds the images. As far as those images go, what I did was, well, you're not gonna be able to see this anyway, I guess. What I did was I went out to Google Images, and for each one of those things, like I got an image for HTML5, I got an image for CSS3, etc. All right. Then we come in, and so here's the My Adapter. When you create an adapter, it has to extend the recycler view class dot adapter. All right. And then the type, this right here, has got to be whatever you called it right here. My adapter, my adapter. All right. And then I put dot my view holder. When you do that, you get an error because my view holder doesn't exist. So you've got to come down here and you've got to create it. So there it is down there. So I'll come back to that in just a minute. When you go in and you create an adapter, you get a bunch of red squigglies there because it says you have to go in and you have to implement 3 different methods. All right, those methods are onCreate view holder, onBind view holder, and get item count. All right, and you can, if you literally, when you've got that underline there, you'll get the little light bulb off to the side, and if you click on that, it'll say, do you want to implement those methods? I said yes, and then it did. All right. Again, that's going to represent the titles. That's going to represent the descriptions. That's going to represent the images. All right. So since the name of it is My Adapter, what are we doing here? Well, that's the constructor. So that's setting the context to whatever we passed in. It's going to set this data1 equal to S1 that we passed in. And what is that? That is that array that I showed you at first that holds the 10 terms, HTML5, CSS3, etc. S2, this is the one that holds those 10 descriptions. So again, where it says web aesthetics taught in the first semester of the AWD program, something like that. And this right here, those are the images. And what you end up working with in here, I'm going to jump down a real little bit, is this position. And that position is where in the arrays you currently are. These are parallel arrays. So there are 10 images, there are 10 titles, there are 10 pictures. All right. And the bad thing is right before, literally at about 120 something, I went and ran it and it worked. The only problem that was in there was somehow the, as I showed you, the image was kind of thrown all over the place. So I went to fix that. And I thought that's all I touched. But then when I ran it again, the program just totally blew up. All right. So I've got to fix that and put it out there for you. All right. So when you create the view holder like this, when you create this, and what the heck is a view holder? All right. Basically, it's going to, the adapter, remember, is kind of your connection between the actual data and Java. All right, for lack of better words. So we have to do what's called inflate this view holder, and then we're letting it know the view. This is a single row that we actually want to put in. And what that's going to have again is it's going to have the image on it, and then to the right of the image will be the title, and underneath the title will be the description. All right. Okay. What we want to set it up so that when we come in and we actually click this item, so when it comes in and we want to click on one of these 10 elements, that this is what happens. Well, this shouldn't look new to you. We're creating a new intent. It looks a little different because it's got the word context versus get application context. But other than that, it should look pretty much the same. All right. And then we've got 2 put extras in here. There actually should be 3. So maybe that's why it's blowing up. There should be another one in here that looks like this. All right. So what that is doing is it's saying basically send the current title over, then send the current description over, then send the current image over. All right. So that's what we're doing is we're loading that stuff up and then we're calling start activity. But notice that when you call start activity and when you call it from inside of an adapter class, it's not just start activity like we've been doing. It's context dot start activity. This last thing that's here, all this does is it says, how many things do we want to return? Now, when you first do this, because it's a real common type of error, by default, when it creates this for you, it says return 0. That'll work, except since you're returning 0, it won't show you anything. But from what I had here, that says return 10 things. That's the reason I'm using length is that's how many elements were actually in the arrays. I could have said data1 dot length. I could have said data2 dot length. I could have said images dot length. It doesn't matter because they're all the same thing. All right. And then this is the view holder right here. So what is this doing? It's basically what it's saying is I want to come in here and I have what's called an item view and I want to load that up. All right. So for the current thing I'm looking at, it's saying show me the title, show me the description, show me the image view. And it's being put in to a layout that's on the other page. We'll show you that in just a minute. Now, I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to be that stupid to say, hey, does everybody get that? Because what I'm saying right now may make little to no sense. All right. But I want to go to that second activity because that's what this is. So when you look at the first activity, it looks like this. So it should scroll down and it should have 10 of these. When you click on any of the 10, it should bring up this one. Now, they won't all say HTML5. That's a placeholder. But the first one through there should show this. And then it should say HTML5. And then it should say web content taught in the first semester of the Rankin Technical College AWD program or something like that. All right. And that second activity looks like this. So what are we doing in here? Well, you've looked at stuff like this before, but this is the text view that's in here. This is the two text views and the image view. So my text 1, my text 2, and my image view. Those are my image view, my text 1, and my text 2. Now I called them the same thing as I did on the other activity, but it doesn't matter because they're two different activities. This is what we're passing in, so that'll be the current title. That will be the current description, and that will be the current image. All right, and notice it's passing that current image in as a number because that's its position in the array. All right, and then in the OnCreate, we're going and basically using that find view by ID. You've done that before. I don't think we have to talk about that. And then we've got two different routines in here, a get data and a set data. And again, this is a little different than the way I've been showing you, but there's nothing wrong with it. What it's saying is, hey, did we pass something in here? Did we pass something in here? And did we pass something in here? In other words, is there something in each one of these? If there's not, it's going to fail. So we're just going to bring up a toast that says no data available. All right. And if there is stuff in each one of these, then we're going to copy them into where we currently are in the system. Now, I don't know. I was going to check this too. If this is expecting, no. All right. So again, it's coming in and it's saying did the intent work? When we clicked the button, did it pass the data over? All right. And if it did, then basically use it to load up the second XML file. All right. And if it doesn't, again, give me a toast saying that. So that'll get the data, but this will set the data. All right. So it's saying set the text to that, set that text to that. And here it's not text, it's an image. So you've got to use set image resource. All right. Now, the problem, like I said, that I've been having with this, I'll go back to main activity. I'll do a file. I'll do a save all. And I'll come in and attempt to run this. And like I said, I just had nothing but a boatload of errors when I originally did it. Now it's been coming up and it just says, the example has stopped. Well, if you've never had that happen to you, boy, you're darn lucky. All right. So I'm not going to open it again, because if I do, it's just going to stop again just to show you. And it'll say it just keeps stopping. So I'll close the app. So the only way that you can really, there's different ways of debugging that, but the easiest way to debug that is to come in here and bring up the logcat, bring up logcat over here. And you look at this and it's a big file. So what I'm going to do is I went over here and I changed it from verbose, which is really big, to just show me errors. All right. And then I went in here, did a Control A, and then I'm going to copy all of it, but I want to just copy it as plain text. So I came into here and then pasted it in. The problem with that, well, this isn't nearly as big as it was before. When I ran it before, literally, there were about 500 lines. All right. Now, when you go through this, what you want to look for in here is, okay, process.com. Okay, there's a null pointer exception. And it's associated with these two lines. You want to make sure that whatever is shown in here as far as an error message in the parentheses, all right, for instance, recyclerview.java is not my file. So the error is not in there. Linear layout manager is not my file. So it's not in there. So in other words, I can start looking through this and I can very quickly tell that my problem is in between lines 14 and 42 of the myadapter.java file, Java file rather. So I can actually come in and get rid of the rest of these. All right, so that's what I've got to work on. So I've got to jump back here. And in the myadapter file, there it is. It was lines, I think, what was it again? It was 42 and 14. So I go and look at line 14. And it says it doesn't like this. Now I went back and double checked that. I even checked it on other programs. That's not the error. So the error is in line 42. All right. There's something that's breaking here, and it's not actually line 42. It's this line. It's the line above it. So it doesn't like that line in my program. I'm still not sure why, but it keeps blowing up at that particular line. So I have to fix it because, again, ideally, what's going to happen is you're going to run this. And what you will see on here will be the 10 logos that I mentioned to you. And for each logo to the right of it, it will have a title. And underneath that title, it'll have a description. And if you click on any one of these 10 items, it'll bring up that second activity where you will see the same information, but in here, right about in the middle here, you'll see the logo, and then you'll see the title and the description afterwards. I wanted to get this to work. Why? Because what I want you to do for your next assignment, no, I haven't even finished writing it yet because I want to make sure it's correct first, and I want to do it first. So that's not what I want. That can be from your file. Open. So again, I will want you to take either your rock, paper, scissors program or your guessing game program, go back into it, create your own set of styles, make up your own theme, go take a look at the material design website for some colors and basically redo it that way. So if, for a couple of you who turned in your programs, they didn't run correctly. So if they didn't run correctly, fix them so they do. If they ran correctly, great. Then all you have to do is go back and make these aesthetic changes. What I wanted you to do, though, for the second assignment, all right? So what I was hoping at least we do for the second assignment is maybe for the first time ever, I wanted people to do something they wanted to do. In other words, you were going to come in and you were going to create your own recycler view. It could have as many things in it as you want. All right. And the idea would be, again, you'd style it so it looked professional. You'd work with images. You'd make sure they were all the same size, that the quality was good, etc. And, I don't mean to pick on her, but for instance, because I know that I've seen on her portfolio that, like, for example, Abby likes horses. She might have 10 different types of horses on her first page. All right. So maybe she's just got the names in the recycler view that goes on the first page. Then when you click any of those names, it brings up on the second page maybe a picture of that horse and a description of that horse. Now, I've been talking, and it looks like you guys are still here, but you've been quiet. Christian has kind of been the voice here. Does what I'm saying make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. Okay. So like I said, I want to fix this. I want to put this out on GitHub. I want to invite all of you to take a look at it. All right. I'm not sure if that's because I think it's going to be too big to try to email to you. And I'm not driving over to your houses with flash drives. All right. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. So the rest of the period today will end up being a lab. Yeah, again. And let's face it, good, bad, or indifferent, you get a lot of lab time in this class. All right. And a couple people had emailed me, but what you should have, and if you didn't get this, don't put it in the chat, just email me. But before the semester started, I sent each and every one of you a folder. And that folder, I think it's called either Balsamic or Balsamic Mockup 3 or something like that. In that folder, there are two different Word documents. All right, one that was called, and let me get it because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right name. So the name of that folder was Balsamic 3 Mockup. And inside of that folder were a bunch of, there was a PDF or two, and there were some Word files in there. But one of the Word files that's in there is called one of them is called creating a mobile application. All right, it's in there as a Word file, but as I always do that when I take something off the internet, at the top in the header, I put the URL where that is. All right, and the other one that you're supposed to be doing it's called Balsamic Mockups First Project. All right, and just so you know, if you start working on those and you run into any trouble, what I have done is I have done a series of YouTube videos on each one of these. There's 5 or 6 videos on each one. And to be honest with you, this is not hard. You should be able to go through this. And after you do the first one, you do the website, you should be able to do to wireframe the mobile project in about an hour. So I'm asking you to do about 2 hours worth of work. So your assignment for Friday is to go over both the Balsamic Mockups First Project and the creating a mobile application from Balsamic. Now, if you did not get that folder, then email me and I'll send it out again. But everyone should have. I always email myself, put myself in there for a copy. And it said when I did that, because I went back and looked at the email, it said that it went through to everybody. There were no errors that were given. All right. So ideally, I will have this done by tomorrow and you'll be able to see it in action, so to speak. All right. Now, as you know, I'm willing to take any questions that anybody has. And like I said, I realize, we start off, well, it's a lot like the regular class. We're getting a boatload of lab time. Yes, you are. All right. And by the end of the day today, I promise I will send you out the Unit 5 lab that you'll have to do next. Again, it will be 2 problems. One of them is already written out. I wanted to wait till this one was working, till I wrote out the other one. All right, does anybody have any questions?
No.
All right, that's what I had. You're welcome to stay on here. I love this. I don't know if you can see that on the screen now, but I got a little dialog box that comes up that says running out of time. I don't know if you can see that or not, but Zoom supposedly set it up so we could have our meetings be as long as we wanted them to be. And that's why the one we did 2 days ago was 2.5 hours. Now they cut it back down to their 40-minute time. So as I'm lecturing in here, I'm either going to have to go to Google Hangouts, which in my opinion doesn't work as well, or we'll have to go for 40 minutes. We'll have to take a break. I'll have to send you a new URL and we'll have to start up again. All right. And I'm not sure which way we're going to do this. I sent a help request to the Zoom support center today, telling them, hey, you guys said you were going to make these meetings as long as we wanted them to be, and now they're back to 40 minutes again. I know that Mr. Corrigan has already gone back to Google Hangouts because he was using Zoom, but I didn't like the way Google Hangouts worked. So I will let you know that tomorrow. So again, you have any questions, email me. Please look at your emails. All right, I'll probably have, by the end of the day today, I will have your Unit 5 lab and this mini lecture that I'm giving right now, that will be out there as well. All right, but if you have any questions at any time, I try to keep the email window open all the time. So please let me know if you have any. Other than that, you're on your own. I'm going to stay on the system here in this meeting until either I run out of time or when I look over here, there are no names on here anymore. All right, so I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, did you just join us or were you here all the time? Chris Hardy? Chris Hardy, are you there? Chris?